Welcome to Humanities. As this Year 8 starter demonstrates, central to our thinking in RE, history and geography is that we want students to develop an inquiring and analytical mind, thinking deeply while building the skills for GCSE.
Welcome to the Geography Department. My name is Fiona Critchlow and I'm Head of Geography. In the Geography Department we have four main aims. Number one, to enable students to appreciate their surroundings by giving them the learning required to recognise how landscapes have been shaped and the processes that are involved. Number two, we want students to have an awareness of their placement in the world and their country's interdependence with other nations. We also want them to promote realisation and empathy that places and people around the world are not identical to them, but is that which makes the world such an interesting place. Number three, we want to promote realisation and empathy that the world and people in the world are not identical to themselves. And number four, finally, we want to make students aware of the current global issues our world is facing and enable them to become positive global citizens, encouraging them to make a difference and leave the world in a better place to how they found it. We begin to do this in Year 7 by covering four topics. In the autumn term, we begin by studying geographical skills. Here we delve into what geography is and the skills required to become an effective geographer. Students study place location and map skills, such as direction, map symbols and scale. Next, we investigate the people problem. Why does it matter that the current global population is 7.8 billion? And where are all these people? And what will the impact be on our world in the future? We follow this up by analysing the impact overpopulation will have on our global ecosystem, in particular tropical rainforests and coral reef. Finally, we look at other issues the globe is currently facing in the topic global concerns in the 21st century. Here we look into the theory of global warming and how overpopulation is feeding the plastic problem in our seas and oceans. It is during the topic of ecosystems that we visit the botanical gardens to enable students to appreciate the value of this ecosystem.
Okay, in Year 8 and 9 we continue to build on the content learnt in Year 7, investigating other areas of geography such as glaciation, weather and food security. At GCSE, students follow the AQA geography specification, covering a range of topics including urbanisation, coastal and river landscapes and natural hazards. Students get the opportunity to do a range of fieldwork visits during their time at the Wilnecote school, including a visit to the Botanical Gardens in Birmingham to investigate ecosystems, a residential to the east coast to investigate coasts, a day trip to Cardiff Mill Valley to investigate river landscapes, and a day trip to Birmingham city centre to investigate regeneration. We are looking at running an overseas trip to Iceland to investigate natural hazards.
RE in Year 7 begins with the big question, is God real? We encourage students to explain why people might believe in God or why they may be very certain God does not exist. The next topic is who is the best leader. We do not mind which leader out of Gandhi, Muhammad, Jesus or Buddha the students choose, but we do expect them to use the material they have examined in class to support their view. Finally, the summer term topic is rites of passage, where we explore different ways of celebrating childhood and the coming to adulthood.
The study of big, ultimate, challenging questions continues throughout Key Stage 3 in RE. We ask students to consider whether the use of violence can ever be justified, why respect is shown to human remains, and we study the existence of evil and suffering. We finally study the Holocaust and ask students to consider why it was allowed to happen. As part of our Holocaust study, we lead a trip to Beth Shalom, the National Holocaust Centre. If taken as an option at GCSE, students study the role of family in raising children, medical ethics and euthanasia.
Year 7 start their historical journey in 1066, explaining why William the Conqueror was able to defeat Harold at the Battle of Hastings and then go on to control England. In the spring term, a thematic approach looks at crime and punishment, comparing Saxon, Norman and Tudor punishments and the rationale behind them. There is a focus on the witch craze in the 15 and 1600s. Finally, students complete 3 medieval depth studies: the causes and effects of the Black Death, who was to blame for the murder of Thomas Becket, and what caused the Peasants' Revolt.
Beyond Year 7, we look at the impact of the Reformation in England before returning to a thematic study of crime and punishment with a look at Jack the Ripper. A trip to London for the Clink Museum, a former Tudor prison and a Jack the Ripper tour complements this. The moral issues raised by the slave trade are also analysed. Key Stage 3 ends with a study of the horrors of World War I, an investigation into the campaigns to get women the vote and an overview of life in Nazi Germany. At GCSE, our 4 chosen topics are medicine through time, early Elizabethan England, the Cold War and a study of the USA, which covers black civil rights and the Vietnam War.
We hope you enjoyed your brief tour of humanities. We believe the topics we have chosen and our approach to teaching will allow students to be actively involved in their learning, developing useful skills of analysis, explanation and argument that will help them in later life.
And so back to the starter and the answers. Well, we wouldn't just tell you the answers to question 1 and 2. You wouldn't develop an inquiring, analytical mind that way, would you? And question 3? Remember, there is often no right answer, as long as you can justify your opinion. We hope you enjoyed that brief tour of humanities. We'll see you in September.